Number 10. Secret Swastika buildings. Google Earth is a computer program that renders a 3D representation of Earth based primarily on satellite imagery. And of all the strange symbols that can be spotted on Google Earth, people have been citing swastikas. But these aren't swastikas carved into the ground or burned into fields. Instead, these are mysterious buildings shaped like swastikas, and you can only see clearly from the satellite images. Of course, we all know the swastika became a symbol of hate and evil after the German party used the symbol as such. But what a lot of people don't know is that the swastika actually came from Hinduism. The symbol was supposed to represent prosperity and good luck. But alas, just like the Nazis ruined so many things, they ruined this as well. Now, what about these buildings? They have actually been found all over the world, from a naval base in San Diego to a retirement home in Alabama, and even a hospital in Amsterdam that was spotted to be made in the shape of a swastika. You might be thinking, well, maybe they built these structures before the Nazis, but that wouldn't be true. The naval base in San Diego was built in the 1960s. Either all these buildings were shaped like swastikas by accident, or there's some kind of secret Nazi agenda going on that we can't even conceive. What do you think? Hail Hydra. Number 9. Giraffe in the garden. A Google Maps user discovered an extremely strange creature one day while using the application. The creature in question was spotted in a Welsh garden behind someone's house. Now, this isn't a Bigfoot or some kind of mutant creature. Instead, we're pretty sure that's a giraffe. In the image, you can clearly see it's a big property. It looks like a farm with a house, several outbuildings, farmland for growing, a yard with a pond, and what appears to be a large, long-necked giraffe. The beast of the shadow is very clearly visible on the ground, and if you zoom in far enough, you can see what's obviously the animal that should only be in Africa or in a zoo. I mean, as awesome as it sounds, no one really has any business having a pet giraffe, right? The big question here is, well, what in the world is a giraffe doing wandering around in a yard? There does not appear to be a fence, and there don't seem to be any other animals. It's literally just a single giraffe that these guys must own like a pet dog. Number 8. Mysterious Cave. A mysterious and unexplainable cave has been discovered on a remote island in Antarctica thanks to Google Maps. Some are claiming this strange cave could be an entrance down into Hollow Earth, like in the King Kong movies. Or it could be some kind of military cover-up. What's even stranger is that the cave appeared abruptly back in 2007 and then vanished just 6 months later. It's almost as if somebody spotted the cave, realized that it was a huge mistake, and forced Google Maps to cover it up and erase it. When the cave was visible, it measured an estimated 74 feet or 23 meters high and 249 feet or 76 meters in width. The cave was so big that it could easily fit hundreds, if not thousands of people through its mouth at the same time. Now, the big mystery is, where did the cave come from, and how could it have vanished so quickly? Sure, it could have been some kind of natural event. The cave could have broken open because of melting ice, and then 6 months later it was filled with snow. Or the government could be up to something very suspicious in Antarctica that we have no idea about. What do you think about this mysterious cave? Do you think the military is trying to cover something up? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 7. Aliens in Antarctica? On Google Earth, UFO hunters have discovered a sign of what could be a potential alien invasion. The sign came in the form of an alien face discovered carved into the ice in an extremely remote part of the southeast of Antarctica. While many say the face is simply a coincidence created by shifting snow, there's no debating that the image taken from Google Earth really does look like some kind of strange humanoid creature. It has a pointed forehead, thin eyes, a small nose, and even a tiny mouth. It seems to be waking up from the snow, as if heralding an alien invasion. But what is it really? Could the face truly be a warning of alien doomsday? On the other hand, could it possibly be evidence of an ancient civilization that once lived on Antarctica? The truth is that all the mainstream scientists have been quiet on the matter. We don't know what the face is or how it got there. It's not like anyone is heading down to Antarctica anytime soon to take a look for themselves. Number 6. Creepy crash. A user on Google Maps made a rather shocking discovery at the scene of a motorcycle accident. Not only did the user spot a car smashing straight into the motorbike, but they also found something eerie and unbelievable lurking in the background. The accident took place at a bend in the road in Japan. It's not exactly clear what happened in the crash. Nobody really knows whose fault the accident was. However, looking beyond the crashed motorcycle with a keen eye, you can clearly see a skeleton trapped inside of a fence. Because the road is going around a sharp curve, and the left side of the curve is just a sharp wall, there is fencing to keep rocks from falling off the cliff and potentially hitting cars and pedestrians. Beneath that fence is very clearly a skeleton. It definitely doesn't look human. The skeleton could belong to a deer, but regardless of what kind of animal the skeleton once belonged to, the big question is, how did it get stuck underneath the fence? The workers must have realized that they had trapped an animal under the fence, and then they just continued installing it anyway without a care in the world? Would this happen anywhere else in the world? Number 5. Caught kidnapping. A kidnapping was recently discovered using the Street View of Google Maps. Users were shocked to discover what appeared to be 2 men kidnapping a person in broad daylight and walking out onto a busy street with their body bundled inside of a carpet. The 2 men can be seen dressing in black masks and black pants and white striped shirts like the Ronald McDonald Hamburglar. They exit an apartment complex with a rolled up carpet under their arms. Sticking out from the carpet, you can clearly see somebody's feet. It's also quite shocking that this incident happened in Sweden, where you wouldn't really expect a brazen daylight kidnapping. However, Google Maps users were quick to spot what's really happening here. According to Express News, by changing the street view to look at the other side of the road, it's obvious that there is a film crew. The whole thing was actually part of a film being made. The street view vehicle just so happened to drive by at the perfect time to catch what looked like a kidnapping. This actually makes so much more sense because even in the images you can see other people on the street. No woman walking her dog is just going to pass by without saying or doing anything. Number 4. Nessie Spotting. Yet again, the Loch Ness Monster has been spotted. This time, Nessie was discovered by a woman in the United States over 3,500 miles or 5,600 kilometers away from the famous loch. Her name is Lisa Stout from Ohio, and on September 5th, 2018, she was searching through pictures of the loch on Google Earth when she came across the monster itself. Somehow the photo had gone completely unnoticed by everyone else on the internet, and yet it's pretty clear by looking at the image that there's some kind of serpent-like monster with its head bobbing out of the waves with a background of forest behind it. It looks an awful lot like the iconic black and white photo of the Loch Ness Monster. Wanting to let someone know, Lisa reached out to the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register and told them what had happened. They were appreciative of the sighting, though it hasn't actually brought anyone any closer to capturing the elusive monster. According to Google, people search for the Loch Ness Monster about 200,000 times a month. That's a lot of people monster hunting. This wasn't the first time someone found Nessie on Google Earth. In 2004, Bjorn Sig won the best Loch Ness Monster sighting when he spotted the creature 800 miles, or 1,287 kilometers away in Sweden. Number 3. Sinister Bodies. Some very strange bodies have been spotted using the Google Maps Street View in Alaska. The image was taken in Anchorage. It was of 2 people who were quite smartly dressed. They seem to be wearing business suits and are walking through what appears to be a fairly busy park. People are everywhere, but nobody seems to be looking at these 2 individuals. It could be because they're missing the tops of their bodies. Whether it was a glitch with the camera or the software or some kind of secret technology that wasn't supposed to be discovered by an ordinary person, There's no doubt that what was seen on Google Maps was two pairs of legs walking side by side, dressed in the same pants and wearing the exact same shoes. It almost looks like their bodies have been half erased, but the weirdest part is that you can actually see through to the other side. It doesn't seem to be a glitch. It really does look like there's nothing above the legs. When a photo is being taken, the 360-degree cameras shoot multiple pictures to create the seamless image. This is done by knitting all the images together to make it seem a lot more realistic. However, sometimes shifting objects can ruin the scene as they move when the photos are taken. One explanation could be that these people are government operatives who were wearing invisibility gear that malfunctioned. That would be a fun assumption to make. But of course, a more realistic explanation is that the camera actually malfunctioned. Number 2. Mysterious stone gates. Hundreds of mysterious stone gates were recently discovered deep in a dry desert in Saudi Arabia, all thanks to Google Earth. This actually turned into a huge archaeological discovery after professionals used the app to find 400 previously undocumented stone gates that were most likely built by nomadic tribes thousands of years before today. According to archaeologist David Kennedy from the University of Western Australia, Arabia isn't just a hot, boring desert with nothing in it. It's full of archaeological treasures, just like these mysterious stones. David has actually been flying planes over Saudi Arabia since 1997, trying to document the bizarre structures found all throughout this seemingly barren wasteland. Some of them date back 2,000 years, while others date back as far as 9,000 years. But who built these stone structures? What were they for? They were likely constructed by the ancestors of the modern Bedouin people who still live in the region. They were also probably used by nomadic tribes to hunt. These gates were formed in such a way that stampedes of gazelles would become funneled through, running through the gates until they reached a choking point where they would then be slaughtered. Number 1. Plane in the forest. Sleuths on Google Earth have uncovered a mysterious plane hidden in a lush forest. It's parked in the rural countryside outside of Portland, Oregon. It's a full-sized Boeing 727 innocently placed in the middle of a patch of forest. From what we understand, the airplane belongs to a man who purchased it and then parked it in his garden. His garden, of course, being a miniature forest because he wanted to live in it. Of course this is happening in Portland. This guy's name is Bruce Campbell, and he purchased the plane for over $100,000. He now uses the wings for his balcony and the cockpit for a reading room. Most of the original instruments are still inside to give the plane an authentic atmosphere, and he even got one of the bathrooms to function, though nobody's quite sure where exactly his waste is going. Maybe it's just in a big pile under the plane. Ugh, gross. But be warned, as Bruce doesn't really enjoy people creeping onto his property to poke their curious noses at his house. He recently told CNN that some of his visitors get really excited by what he's done. If you just can't help yourself and feel compelled to find the plane yourself, just don't bother Bruce while he's asleep, please. The last thing anyone wants is a stranger sneaking up on their airplane house while they're trying to take a rest. Thanks for watching. What's the craziest thing you've ever found on Google Earth? Are you about to check it out now? Let me know in the comments section down below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button for more awesome videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.